It's SMDBZX time! Goal boost! What are they? Why do I constantly bring them up and what if? Well, the answer can be either complicated or simple, depending on how you look about it. So let's first go over what it's not. And a quick heads up, because this is just a quick video to explain what's going on, or not what's going on, what this thing is. It's not like an actual main production video. I didn't call any of my videos productions. Then I'm not really going to go through the effort of constantly re-recording lines, so expect a little less quality than normal, but I visually, I'm gonna put up examples. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, then tough luck, I guess. But let's start off. The goal boost, in Dragon Ball Z terms at least, is not a boost of power after hitting a certain goal. In fact, it is quite the opposite. You see, while hitting a goal in Dragon Ball can make you stronger, that's due to an increase in your mental health rather than the phenomena I'm talking about. And that's kind of why this is complicated. So, let's go over to the primary example of when we see this and how I use it. The goal boost in Dragon Ball Z mostly is actually the ability to see a goal rather than reaching the goal. You see, when you know how strong someone is in Dragon Ball, if you're able to sense their ki, you can visualize how strong that person is in comparison to you. You often see this in mental image training. The first chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga is a good example of this. This not only helps you with training, but it also helps with determination and physical training. When you know that someone is stronger than you, you're able to get stronger just from the knowledge of how strong that person is. And thus, you get a boost from having a goal. Do you understand why this is complicated? It makes a lot more sense in my head. But I'm going to give you some examples to help, maybe help you understand a little bit better. So to give a more clear example, in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, Goku and Piccolo fight Raditz, who completely outclasses them. After Raditz was defeated, the Z-Fighter humans train with Kami to defeat the Saiyans. Unlike Goku, who didn't even get a 2 times power level increase, the Z-Fighters went from around 200 in power level to anywhere between 14 and 1800 respectively, which either rivals or surpasses Raditz. This doesn't make sense at first. I mean, sure, they had training partners, but they only trained 1/3 of the time Goku did. But when you add my theory, it makes a bit more sense. You see, when Goku trained with Kami, Goku was already the strongest person he knew. There was no one stronger than him. And he didn't know how strong Piccolo Jr. would be. However, when Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin trained with Kami, they were told how strong Raditz was. Even if they weren't, they knew how strong Goku was and could take a guesstimation based on information they were given. If you want to bring anime filler into this, they also fought Saiyans from the Pendulum Room, or whatever the hell it's called. Regardless, they had an idea of how strong Raditz was, and thus, they got a bigger increase than Goku ever did training with Kami. How about another example? When Goku left for Namek, he could only stably use Kaioken ×2, and only had knowledge of how strong Grade 8 Vegeta was. Which, we really don't even know how strong Grade 8 Vegeta was, considering that his power level did drop by making the Power Ball, he was heavily injured, there's a bunch of different factors. But, despite only increasing the gravity by 10 times, his power level went to 90,000, which makes his Kaioken, his previous maximum, equal to Grade 8 Vegeta's. Meanwhile, Vegeta's base form was only as strong as Goku's Kaioken ×3. Which, to put this in another perspective, Goku reached Vegeta's max power after a week of training inside the gravity room on the way to Namek. Vegeta got a Zenkai boost and became just as strong as Goku was when he beat him through a Zenkai. Both of these guys knew how strong the other person was, and their power level increased to match that power. Now, the reason this didn't happen for everyone else is because they weren't. That's a bit harder to say. Krillin really didn't have a chance to train, and neither did Gohan did. However, Gohan did get his potential unlocked, and when he did, he apparently became just as strong as Vegeta was on Earth, or something like that. At least that's what I hear. Which makes sense in a way. It's a bit more confusing. I guess that puts a little bit of a hole in my theory here, but regardless, you can see where I'm going at here with my theory. I mean, it's not foolproof, but the concept is there. But let's give another example to kind of help put down this, speaking of Krillin, another example. When Trunks is warned about the androids, when Trunks warned everyone about the androids, goddamn, this script fucking sucks. Piccolo tells everyone that if they can't handle Frieza-level threats, to not even show up. Piccolo, who was only as strong as second form Frieza and Namek, was able to contend with Super Saiyan Goku while training over the 3 years. We see this on the cover of the manga. As well as Vegeta, who became a Super Saiyan as well after seeing Goku and Trunks do it. Though that's likely not affiliated with the goal boost. That's more likely just Vegeta being pissy. And while Vegeta did unlock Super Saiyan, makes it easier than Piccolo, Goku didn't have any evidence of being much stronger than when he fought Trunks, which makes sense since he's the strongest person he knows. To re-explain this, in case you aren't understanding what I'm telling you, those human Z fighters appeared to fight the androids even though they knew they would be stronger than Frieza. Piccolo was training with a Super Saiyan, and Vegeta surpassed both Goku and Trunks because he knew how strong they were. While Goku, on the other hand, does not have any evidence of being much stronger because the strongest person he knew, aside from himself when starting his training, was Trunks, who was already weaker than him. This is another example of the goal boost. Everyone had a goal in mind and hit that goal. Now, why the human Z fighters didn't reach Super Saiyan Goku level, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was an idea of, oh, I only need to be as strong as this guy, and they pushed their body to their limits. I don't really have a answer for that one. As I said before, there's definitely holes in the goal boost theory, but you can definitely see that something at least similar to it happens throughout the series. In fact, I think it's Quaman. Quaman has a theory on this, I think, or a similar theory, with the Zenkais, that a Saiyan's body, when they get a Zenkai boost, their power level will rise to meet whoever they were fighting. A little bit different in nature than my theory, but it's an example of how, these guys are suddenly just as strong as they need to be, or the last guy they fought. But to simplify even more what I've told you, to simplify everything I've gone over in this video, in Dragon Ball Z, when you sense how strong someone is, your training results will be magnified to meet that level, aka the goal boost.